NTA International News.
John Dramani Mahama. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema briefed journalists at the end of the meeting, expressing concern over the deteriorating situation in the country and shared views on the way forward.
They agreed on their determination to resolve the Gambian political crisis in a manner that at every step of the way conforms with the Constitution of the Gambia and respects the will of the people of Gambia. They expressed particular concern at the deteriorating situation that has been reported in respect of security in the Gambia. In particular, the closure of some of the radio stations and media houses, arrests that have been taking place, and also the refugee situation that is being created with a mass exodus of a large number of people to the interior and to neighboring countries. In view of this, the meeting agreed that a certain number of the presidents will visit again in 2 days' time President Jammeh in the Gambia to discuss the need and the imperative to respect the Constitution.
And away from the aviation sector comes a report that the federal government has installed the 13th low-level wind sheet alert system, which provides early warning for hazardous wind alerts to pilot during aircraft takeoff and landing. The Minister of State Aviation, Hadi Sirika, who inaugurated the facilities at the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport in Katsina, said meeting of operational standards at all the nation's airports is a priority to the Buhari administration. Emmanuel Ayimero has the details.
It will be recalled that in June 1956, during a takeoff of an aircraft from Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, a wind shear, which is a weather phenomenon, was encountered. This resulted into 32 fatalities. Many air crashes have been traced to wind shear, which Hadi Sirika says must be prevented at all costs. Katsina Airport now has weather alert system installations.
The installation of LLWAS at airports in Nigeria is therefore a right step towards achieving and sustaining safety in Nigerian airspace.
Meanwhile, the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, has called on the federal government to take advantage of facilities at the Katsina Airport.
We welcome development, we welcome concession. We want to put this airport to maximum use.
The airport has a perfect runway and other relevant aviation facilities. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says all contingency plans have been put in place for Kaduna Airport to be in good shape for full operations during the 6 weeks closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for repair works on the airport runway in early part of March 2017. He made this known during a facility tour at the Kaduna Airport. Again, Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
Briefing the media at the end of the inspection of facilities at the Kaduna Airport, particularly the new terminal building yet to be completed, Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika stated that all facilities necessary to provide smooth air operation will be installed before the due date for the closure of Abuja Airport.
I'm more than happy to say that Kaduna is very ready for the task ahead. We've gone round with you. We've seen the provisions made in the Hajj terminal, which is right here at the airport for processing of passengers, which we said would be up to 500 passengers at a time.
He said alternative arrangement has been made in case the main control tower is not ready before the takeoff of operation at the Kaduna Airport.
Regarding the runway, we went round with you. It's in perfect shape and order. The edge lights and everything, the markings, everything is ready for operations.
While assuring the public of repair works to be carried out on the bad portion of Kaduna Abuja Dual carriageway, Surika said inspection of all facilities will be carried out by aviation stakeholders and the media to ascertain the viability of the Kaduna Airport. Emmanuel Anyemiru, NTA News.
Away from aviation matters now, the federal government has approved the rehabilitation of Abuja Dual carriageway at the cost of 1.1 billion naira. The rehabilitation work is to be completed within 50 days from this week. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Abubakar Musa Magaji, says already contractors handling the work have been issued offer letter and will be mobilized within 1 week. It will be recalled that the deterioration of the Abuja-Kaduna highway has been a major source of concern to both motorists and commuters, as lives and property have been lost almost on a daily basis. The All Progressive Congress-led federal government is poised to use the 2017 appropriation bill to take Nigeria out of the current economic recession facing the country. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Bolaji Abdullahi, who stated this in Abuja, appealed to Nigerians to support all the strategic plans of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration to make Nigeria better. The APC spokesman said the government will continue to improve on its social security programs to make life more meaningful to the people.
The 2017 budget, Mr. President called it the budget of recovery, and we have looked at it and we have optimism that 2017 is going to be a much better year. We want to appeal to Nigerians that what we experienced in 2016 was necessarily a fallout of the adjustment that needed to happen. So we believe that 2017 will be a better year, and we crave the indulgence of Nigerians to continue to support the APC government at the national level, because at this moment we are still the party that has the possibility to deliver the greater good to Nigerians.
And turning now to agriculture, the federal government says its long-term plan is to maximize the full potential of the 3.1 million hectares of irrigable land across the country, as projected in the National Water Resources Master Plan. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu said this while on a visit to irrigation facilities in Jigawa, Kano and Katsina states. Musbao Danuhab reports.
It is time for the dry season farming. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu, alongside the Chairman Senate Committee on Water Resources Mohammed Ubali Shito, was on the mission to see the level of preparedness of irrigation facilities under the Aja Jamare River Basin Development Authority in Kano. The river basin has the largest irrigation scheme in the country, but only 1/3 of its potential is currently being cultivated for irrigation. While some of the facilities are in order, ready to go for the season, others require major rehabilitation. The World Bank is already partnering the government under the trimming program in developing the infrastructure, but the minister called for more collaboration from other donors and individuals, as he said the government is fully committed to irrigation farming.
Duk abin da gwamnati da shugaban kasa Muhammadu Buhari yake so a gane shine mu canza.
The Buhari government wants everyone to change positively, assist and collaborate with the government, protect public property for the development of the country and the good of every citizen.
According to the minister, private investors have been signifying interest in the community public-private partnership, say PPP arrangements of the government, but he categorically added that the government will partner only those investors with genuine intention. The minister and his team also visited the Sapke Dam and irrigation scheme in Katsina, as well as at Aja Valley irrigation project in Jigawa State to identify the potential yet to be tapped. Musbao and Wahab, NC News.
Meanwhile, the Chinese government has placed an order worth millions of naira for export of tubers, especially yam, from Nigeria. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, told NTA News that As contained in the agreement, dried yams will be exported. Musa Babaliu has the details.
Nigeria remains the world's largest producer of tubers, yam and cassava according to statistics from the Food and Agriculture Organization. Over the years, there has been partnership between the Nigerian government and China on the production and export of cassava chips. For instance, the country has secured a total of 2.2 million metric tons of dried cassava chips export to China. This time around, Nigeria is to commence export of yam.
The Chinese are asking us to export yams to them now, but they want it dry. So we're looking at how to dry the yams and export to China.
The minister said government is partnering with local fabricators to produce cassava harvesters and plow that will produce yam heaps.
We've got an engineering group, because my fear is that in 10 years' time, the young people making the heaps now won't be there and it will be too costly. We don't want to run out of yams either.
In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And away from agriculture, the House of Representatives is set to reconvene after 6 days of Christmas and New Year holidays. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo spoke to some members who say upon resumption, the House will intensify its oversight activities in preparation for the 2017 budget scrutiny.
A day after President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2017 budget to the joint session of the National Assembly, the legislators embarked on Christmas holidays. Usually, at this time of the year, the National Assembly resumes to face the most demanding part of budget process, that is, budget scrutiny and defense. Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business, Emmanuel Oke-Jeff, explained that debate on the budget will not commence immediately, as copies of the budget must first be made available to all members.
And normally what happens is that the president will present one copy of the budget, and then copies are made out of that and distributed to all the members. That is going on presently.
If you don't do an oversight, it makes it pretty difficult to have a proper assessment. So of course it does go hand in hand, the oversight and of course working on the appropriation.
The House had announced that implementation of the 2016 budget will continue till March this year so as to ensure the completion of the full cycle of the budget. On the 1.1 billion naira announced by the federal government for the rehabilitation of the Abuja-Kaduna road, Representative Mohammed Mungono from Borno State explained that a fund was contained in the 2016 budget.
A provision of about 2 billion naira has been made in the 2016 budget for the reconstruction of the Abuja-Kaduna Dual carriageway, and the government is now trying to expend about 1.1 billion.
From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And if you're just joining us, this is the news on NTA International from Abuja, Nigeria. Taking a break at this time to return shortly. Please stay tuned.
NTA International. This is where the news begins. Every breaking news and developments on the African continent.
Welcome to NTA International News. State House correspondent Hamza Musa.
In-depth news analysis and professional perspectives on all sides of the story.
Experts say the issue of
national energies and resources must be mobilized to promote
every day on NTA International. We take you inside Africa and the world.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thank you for being there. President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Niger State on the death of former governor of the state, Abu Kure. President Buhari also commiserated with wife of the deceased, Senator Zainab Kure, and her children, the Kure family and the Nupe people on the unfortunate demise of their illustrious son. A statement signed by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, indicates that the President joins them in mourning the two-term governor and vibrant political leader who was a great promoter of peaceful coexistence, development and unity of the Nigerian state throughout his life. President Buhari pays tribute to Governor Kure's unselfish dedication to the progress of his state, symbolized by his selfless service to his community even after leaving office. The president prays that the Almighty Allah will receive Governor Kure's soul and comfort all who mourn him. Moving on now, Nigeria attains another high-level aviation safety rating as Central Bank of Nigeria reduces its weekly foreign exchange sale by 25%. These and more with Chiazala Miki on Business News.
It's glad to have you join us on this segment. Starting with some cheering news, Nigeria has attained another high-level rating which placed it among the world leaders in aviation safety. This is coming from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. The NCAA made the disclosure in a statement by its General Manager, Public Relations, Sam Adoroboye. The statement indicates that Nigeria climbed to Level 3 safety program implementation process, joining countries like the United States of America, the UK, and others in their echelon. And the Central Bank of Nigeria has reduced its weekly foreign exchange sales to banks by 25%, even as prices of Nigeria's Eurobond has risen amid renewed investors' interest. The CBN has been selling $7.5 million per week to banks through the interbank foreign exchange markets. Nigeria's Eurobond listed on the London Stock Exchange enjoyed price appreciation as a result of increased demand by investors. And just before we go, let's take a look at trading figures on the Nigerian stock markets. That's the package at this time. I am Chiazala Meke. The news continues. Please stay with us.
Thank you very much, Chiazala. From business to crime, the gang of suspected kidnappers responsible for the kidnap of former Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bagudu Hirse, last year, and other prominent Nigerians has been smashed. Public Relations Officer, Nigeria Police Force Headquarters, DCP Donawuna, said the intelligence response team of the Inspector General of Police in a coordinated operation apprehended the suspects. Okwekbayong reports.
Leader of the 7-member gang of the suspects who were arrested in Kaduna State and neighboring states confessed to have collected the sum of 8.7 million naira from the former Minister of State Foreign Affairs as ransom for his release. The only woman among them said she runs a bar in Kaduna and was unaware that the other suspects belonged to a gang of criminal elements who specialize in kidnapping.
I'm a businessman before my business collapsed. I sell phone and phone accessories. But my advice to the other ones is to leave it because it's not the right way.
Force Public Relations Officer Don Awuna said the last suspect was arrested in Lagos after jumping out of the window of the hotel on sighting the police and is presently receiving treatment after sustaining injuries.
The same gang confessed to the kidnap of Dr. Abdulmalik Durunguwa and his wife in their residence at different intervals in Kaduna. Ransom was also collected by the gang from the family of the victims before they were released. A member of the Kaduna State of Assembly, Honorable Ibrahim Ismaila, was also kidnapped by the gang on 26 August 2016.
Meanwhile, 2 suspects charged for criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, kidnapping, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition, and said to have terrorized residents in a village in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State have also been arrested and paraded. In Abuja, Oku Ekpayong, NTA News.
Nasarawa state government has constructed over 400 kilometers of roads across the state under the first phase of its urban renewal program. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura said this is to restore the original master plan of urban centers in the state to provide more access roads to communities. Correspondent Joshua Jito reports.
These were the states of urban and rural roads across Nasarawa State before the flag-off of the Urban Renewal Program by the Almakuras-led administration, an initiative aimed at developing the capital city and other urban centers geared towards the restoration of their original master plan. The thrust of the renewal program, apart from restoring the master plan, is also to ensure the construction of 3 to 5 kilometers of asphalt roads in each of the 13 local government headquarters, link rural communities with urban centers, as well as open up Lafia, the capital city, with network of roads. So far, 12 out of the 13 local government headquarters have benefited from the road project, while Lafia, the capital city, is now wearing a new look with network of roads traversing its nooks and crannies.
We are at our maturity stage, and if at this point in time we do not give all the necessary inputs in what makes the state capital tick, then we would have failed. What we are trying to do is to ensure the implementation of our physical planning to give Lafia an uplift that will make it befit its name.
In addition to road constructions, numbers of bridges have been constructed to link rural communities with water channels and drainages constructed to prevent urban flooding. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The president of the Catholic Episcopal Conference of Nigeria, Right Reverend Ignatius Kigama, has proclaimed Special Marian Devotion Center, Elele River State, as a national pilgrimage center. The Archbishop of Jos Archdiocese made the reaffirmation in Elele at a special service to mark the elevation of the center. Emeka Okwala completes the story.
Presenting the certificate of approval to the founder of the National Pilgrimage Center, Very Reverend Father Emmanuel Ede, Archbishop Kigama, accompanied by many bishops, said the Catholic bishops of Nigeria are satisfied that the Eucharistic adoration and special Marian devotion Elele has all it takes to be even an international pilgrimage center. Bishop Kigama, who is also the president of Catholic Episcopal Conference of West Africa, commended Father Ede for lifting the status of Nigeria with the gift of the center and prayed God to shower him with long life and abundant blessings.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria hereby grants national approval to the Pilgrimage Center of Eucharistic Adoration and Special Marian Devotion.
In a homily to mark the end of the one-week Eucharistic Adoration and Special Marian Devotion, the Catholic Bishop Oka Diocese, Most Reverend Dr. Jonas Benson Okoye, said the church is blessed with the gift of the person of Father Ede, whom he said has achieved what great men had not achieved. Dr. Lawrence Brennan Jr. from United States of America and other pilgrims who spoke to NTA News echoed the achievements of Father Ede in the area of uplifting the less privileged members of the society.
There is greatness in this man.
Responding, Father Ede said all the glory and adoration should go to Jesus the Savior and his mother Mary.
I only thank Jesus the Savior who made it possible. And blessed be the Lord who is behind everything.
The ceremony, which coincided with the 14th convocation ceremony of Madonna University, founded by Father Ede, also featured doctorate degree awards on Bishop Kigama and Dr. Jerry Brennan from Omaha, Nebraska, United States of America. Emeka Okpala, NTA News.
And for happenings in some parts of the world, here is Olainka Ojo.
The streets of Ivory Coast's second largest city, Bouaké, have remained calm and the military presence gone after a two-day soldier mutiny took over the city before spreading across the country. The soldiers demanding bonus pay. Soldiers at military camps in cities and towns across Ivory Coast, including commercial capital Abuja, joined the rebellion. And a Syria truce brokered by Russia and Turkey was undergoing strain on Monday as rebels vowed to respond to government violation, and President Bashar al-Assad said the army would retake the important rebel-held area near Damascus. President al-Assad also said his government was ready to negotiate on everything, including his own position within the framework of the Syrian constitution. Elsewhere, Mexico's new foreign minister said on Monday that the country would face the dynamic U.S. political situation with negotiation, not conflicts or insults. The foreign minister appointed last week said, Mexican migrants in the United States are not criminals. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
At the sports now, Nigerian National League 6 innovations for vibrancy as wrestling champion Odunayo Adekunoroye maintains a winning streak in the Pro League in India. Kene Emaborike tells us more on the sports update.
The newly inaugurated board of the Nigerian National League is set to review the rules and regulations governing the league by putting in place a committee that will also bring in innovations. Chief Executive Officer of the league, Bukola Olopade, said the quest to reposition the second-tier league necessitated the need to review its existing rules to make it more vibrant.
Officiating must change. The attitude of club owners must change. The attitude of players must change. The attitude of administrators must change.
Nigeria's wrestling champion Odunayo Adekunoroye on Sunday defeated India's Sangeeta Phogat in just 3 minutes and 59 seconds by technical superiority in the Pro Wrestling League in India. Adekunoroye overpowered Sangeeta in women's 53 kilograms in the very first minute of the bout to record a second successive win by technical superiority in the league, having earlier beaten Jaipur Ninjas Besabav Aguilar by 16-0. With the 2017 Australian Open set to save off January 16, top stars are already getting used to the court in Melbourne after participating in warm-up tournament. Roger Federer, Stan Wawrinka, Serena Williams and Simona Halep are some of the stars spotted in training in Melbourne ahead of the first Grand Slam of the year. With Sports Update, Kenen Imabudike, NTA News.
And that's the much we have for you at this time. Thank you very much for always being there. I'm Justin Bemunyi.